Liverpool 1, West Ham United 0. Liverpool rode their luck at times tonight. They were not at their scintillating best, but they got the job done. We are entering the business end of the season, the most important part of the season, the most crucial, the most clutch part. And Liverpool are coming up trumps. West Ham United are going to be kicking themselves, but Liverpool are winning the league. I'm going to tell you why on the show. Make sure you're smashing that like button right now. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace right now. Let's do this.
Oh, absolutely magnificent.
We are today sponsored again by Boohoo Man. You can get a huge level of discount, up to 70% off their entire clothing range now. Use our link and our promo code in the description below. Got the new Top Boy range out, as you can see as well. Go and check that out right about now, people. Absolutely fantastic stuff from our partners at Boohoo Man. Now, what an entertaining game. I'm going to say this right off the bat about Liverpool. Love, loathe, despise them. They're more exciting. Watching their games is more exciting than ever watching Man City because they give you a chance. Their high line is a joke. I honestly, I respect Jurgen Klopp. When I say a joke, they don't kill the games off. There's always a chance for the opponents every single time. It's whether or not you've got the composure and the bottle to capitalize upon it. And Liverpool, West Ham were not able to do that. That isn't a dig, by the way. Some of you will take that as a dig, but it really isn't. It really, really isn't a dig. I enjoy it. Liverpool rode their luck a bit tonight. People will say they rode their luck. They got lucky. West Ham should have scored. I feel that you make your own luck in life. West Ham missed these chances because Liverpool put you under so much pressure. They're so fast to close you down. They don't give you a second to breathe. So there's an element of credit that goes to Liverpool in that. But today's result is why, for me, Liverpool Football Club will 110% win the English Premier League this year. They're going to win the English Premier League this year because of results like tonight. Because of games that you watch if you watch as a neutral, you'll say probably should have been a draw. West Ham, I mean, they for me had more clear-cut chances than Liverpool. Liverpool had lots of work the ball into the box a lot, had lots of shots, but they were always shooting through crowds of people, being like lots of people in the way, very hard to score. West Ham had open goals. West Ham had shots cleared off lines. Part of me can't believe they didn't score. But then I'm thinking back to the year that Liverpool won the title. These types of results felt like they happened week in, week out. You probably go back and review it. It probably happened 5 to 6 times over the course of the season. The games are entertaining. Liverpool are on the up. The confidence amongst that group of players is astounding. Astounding. They believe. They know. They feel it coming. And a lot of people are saying, Terry, you're just trying to throw out negativity there to put City down. I don't want Liverpool winning this league. If they win this league, they equal 20 league titles that Man United have. I do not want Liverpool to win it. Not on a month of Sundays do I want them to do it. But I can't deny what I'm seeing. And I am seeing Liverpool in the ascendancy, Liverpool growing, Liverpool getting better, Liverpool getting that rub of the green you need. You can argue City did with that handball last week. Massive pressure tomorrow on Man City now. Huge pressure upon Manchester City. Gargantuan pressure on Manchester City. They have to deliver. They have to. Absolutely have to deliver. Will they handle that pressure? We will see. A lot of people here are saying, you're talking cap. Listen, you may think that. Come the end of the year when Liverpool are holding the Premier League title, I'll be waiting for your apology. I'll be sitting here waiting for the apology. You damn 27. I'll be waiting for you, my bro. Screenshot it, people. Shiva, whoever you are, we'll see. It's coming. Terry, don't worry. City will win. Look, City beating Man United tomorrow isn't going to stop this from happening. It's inevitable. I can see it. And do you know the worst bit is? It's not a good feeling I've got. I'm not, oh my God, City, you're going to get caught. I'm so happy. No, I've got a fear. I've got the sense of dread in me. Dread is running through my veins. I don't want this. I don't want this to happen. Why would I? Why would I? It's a madness to me. We have a super chat here that says, absolutely take that. West Ham are a good side. These wins are as important as 5-0 wins over to you, City. Of course, you know, these wins sometimes feel more satisfying. Liverpool probably, on balance of the whole game, were the better team. But what I have noticed with Liverpool recently, second halves, they dominate the first half. And in the second half, there's always opportunities. There's always moments, that high line. If you've got a little bit of speed, if you've got a little pace in behind, you know, it's weird because Liverpool had nearly double the amounts of attempts on goal. I didn't feel like that watching it. You know, and maybe that's because the bigger chances went to West Ham in that second half, especially, and the gilt edge misses from them. But it is what it is. It is what it is. It's the way the cookie crumbles in football. It's as simple as that. You can't get away from it now. Trent, man of the match. Yeah, Trent was sensational today. The goal line clearance. There was 2 or 3, very good tackles he made. And do you know what the irony was? Do you know how he made that goal line clearance? He tracked back. Do you know what he didn't do? He didn't go, right, I'm not going to track back in case we counterattack here and sit back and wait for the counter. That lie that's been told. He didn't. He tracked back because he's a defender and he got the ball off the line. He was sensational today. That was actually my most favorite, the best excuse ever for a player not tracking back is he doesn't have to because he's there ready to pounce on the for the counter attack. I'm like, if you just track back, they wouldn't have conceded. But no, look, absolutely sensational he was today. He really was. And it's funny, really, because I'm not saying it was, but it's almost like it felt like it was in response to the situation with Reece James today doing so well. That's what it felt like. But there we go. Let's have a look at some more of your comments here. Panel coming out soon, people, when a few more of them arrive. Terry, bold predictions. I don't know what that other word's meant to say. Against City. I don't know what that means. That word there. I can't read it. Let's watch Man United play their boring ass game with City. All right, mate. You're a Man United fan tomorrow, so let's have it right. Do you know what I mean? Chill out a little bit. Leave my team alone. We don't need any smoke today. Do you know what I mean? Let me just sit here and be nice. Let me just sit here and be nice to your club for 5 minutes, please. You don't need to be horrible to me. That's all I'm saying. Leave me alone. Leave me alone when it comes to it, all right? Klopp out. Why only 1-0? Don't he know Liverpool are not allowed to concede chances and get a scrappy win? Of course, Akash always being the sarcastic one. Terry, what with that headline? Yeah, I mean it. Liverpool going to win the league. I'm just making a statement. Someone says to me earlier, clickbait. No, it's my opinion, dickhead. Liverpool are going to win the league. I'm allowed to say it. I believe it. Don't want it to happen. I hope I'm wrong. Interesting, boss. Strip Bear, what's interesting? I don't know what you mean. I am confused. Terry, that was Klopp's instruction today. Trent tracked back every time today. Oh, yeah, he changes it game by game. No. When Trent doesn't track back, it's because he misses the danger. He doesn't decide to. There's no master plan to it. Do you know football isn't that detailed? It ain't that detailed, G. Computer games make us think that it is. There's no way he gets told, don't track runners. Don't track back when we're being... He doesn't get told that. If Jurgen Klopp comes out and confirms that in a press conference, then I will come on and apologize. But come on now. Trent was brilliant today, though. He was. Like I said, Liverpool are getting better. Diaz has definitely added spark. Mane getting better at his new role. Diaz looks serious. He looks serious. Spurs must be feeling some pain when they watch him play. They must be feeling some serious, nasty pain in their stomach. Quality. Terry, we need to deliver at the Etihad, which we haven't done in ages in the league. Not going to say we win the league until we get out of City game being won. And I hear you. And listen, just because I'm saying I think Liverpool are going to win the league, it doesn't mean everybody has to believe it. Everybody's got to say it. Everyone's going to have a different standpoint. Everyone's going to view this differently. But just for me, when I look at the overarching situation, you're on the way up. And I feel like City are kind of muttering and stuttering a little bit. They're stumble bums right now. Stumble bums. African Giant says so. Terry, what was the difference between the line drawn on Mane's and the line drawn on Lukaku's? VAR yet again lacks. No, it doesn't. Do you know what I don't think people understand about the lines? Lukaku's lines were drawn last week much deeper on the pitch. These were much nearer midfield. This was much deeper into the attacking zone. I can't explain this because I'm not. Trigonometry is what I've got to say. Our naked eyes fool us with the lines because the camera makes the player look onside, but the camera isn't in line with the play. The camera can be in front of the play, behind the play, so it's like an optical. You ever seen this on the pitch that when you're watching football? Sometimes a ball gets kicked and cleared, and you think it's going to go out for a goal kick, but the ball's actually traveling in the complete opposite direction. Perspective. The lines are drawn in a way that makes them completely in line. Lukaku was offside minimalistically, but he was. Mane today was onside minimalistically. There was lots of the pictures of Cavani when he fed the ball to Rashford when we beat West Ham 1-0. It looked offside to the naked eye, but the lines changed that. I'll try and find it sometime and share it on the terrace. There was a video that explained it. And they basically said some of the still shots will always make players look onside or offside. But when you're actually there and you're actually in line with it, which the lines are, but the lines are drawn at angles because of where the camera is placed. So if the camera's here and the offside's here, or vice versa, the lines will look different. But they're as accurate as we've ever been. They're not inconsistent, brother. They're not. They don't redraw differently every game. Mane, after AFCON and moving to centre forward, has reignited him. I think the new position has. I think what's also helped him is someone coming in that's really good and giving him a kick up the backside. Ian Lee says, make me a mod, please. You need to be more regular on the channel for me to make you a mod. It's got to be a trust thing there. Thank you for the super chat, but I've got to know you a bit more. On a serious note, once Diaz builds more synergy with our forward line, opposition defenses should be worried. He is a serious baller. Robbo was brilliant. Yeah, look, Robbo is brilliant, and it always makes me laugh where people are calling for Tsimikas to come in over him only a few months ago. I'm not too sure what the rest of the panel is. Tom's backstage, Ben's backstage. I always want to bring them out. I don't know where everyone is. People liked it that I sent them the link and they haven't come on yet. They're probably, I don't know what they're doing. So I'm going to send the link out to a few different people. So if you arrive late now, you're not going to be on, unfortunately. You do need to try and get here on time if possible. Right. Rack's here now. Rack was just waiting. Come on, Rack. Terry, based on recent form, I think Liverpool will lose some points in the next away games versus Brighton and Arsenal. If they take 6 points, then I will agree with you. Well, we will see, mon ami. We will see. Right, I'm going to bring Rack, Tom, and Ben out and wait for the rest of the people to get here and arrive. Make sure those like buttons are being smashed. We're going to obviously talk about the game. We're going to talk a little bit of Luis Diaz as well. And title race. We've got to speak about the title race. It has to be done. It has to be done. Let's go. From Ben, Rack joining me now. Look at smiles on your faces. It makes me sick. Honestly, it makes me sick. If it wasn't for the fact that I've got a very good night of UFC planned, I wouldn't even do this show. But we'll start off with the game first of all. Tom, I don't want to say a weird one. Road to luck at times. West Ham should have scored. How do you feel coming out of this with 3 points?
Weren't great, weren't good. Got the job done. That's all that matters. That's all it takes nowadays in these these title races. With City make it so difficult to win these now. You've got to be winning 32 out of 38 games. I love these type of wins because when the chips are down, you need a performance, and these aren't great. Certain players step up and drag you there. Trent, exceptional today. I thought the midfield was quite poor today. I thought Jordan Henderson had a decent game. I thought he was actually quite good. Good performance from him. Luis Diaz, oh my days. Every single game that passes by, £40 million looks even cheaper. It looks even cheaper. Sadio Mane, like that comment was saying earlier, it looks better as a striker. But it's better as a striker when he doesn't have to think about what he's doing. When you're giving him the ball 25 yards out, you're not seeing the best Sadio Mane. When he's getting a rebound 12 yards out or latching onto a straight pass 12 yards out, and he doesn't have to think, it's just instinct. Sound. Trent Alexander-Arnold's day, class. Van Dijk, back to his best. We weren't great, we weren't good, but that you don't need to be great and good. You just need to make sure you're winning these football matches. And if we do that for the rest of the season, you won't find me complaining.
I bet we won't. How many cans have you had?
Not that many.
Ben, good to have you back on, mate. Can you explain why, when Liverpool are at their best, teams miss so many chances against you?
No, it's crazy. It happens a lot. I don't know why. I think as well, the team could be guilty a bit of complacency, maybe. I think, I think you said it before we all came on, like it was kind of comfortable at 1-0 for a long time in the game. And then, we've dealt with pretty much everything they're thrown at us, apart from maybe a couple half chances. But that one that, Trent missed, and then did he miss it or get a touch? I can't remember. But he has to score. He has to score. But I think we had chances as well in the game. I think, on another day, Salah scores that one inside the first minute, and then, we might score another in the first half. And it just kind of changed the game, I think, a bit, him not scoring that chance. But look, people will say we got lucky, like you said at the start of the show, and maybe so. Maybe we did get lucky, but I watched 20 years of United getting lucky, Terry, as you'll agree in some situations. So it's just what you have to do, isn't it? When you
go mate. I said this when you guys won the league. I don't look at it as luck when it happens so regularly. I looked at the chances. West Ham score those chances against lesser teams. You saw Lanzini. He sat Trent down, sent him shopping. You think, right, he's going to tap it away. And it's almost this, but he knows Konate and Van Dijk, they're breathing down his neck. And it's that pressure that makes him miss. This happens so much to Liverpool. When you guys lost your air of invincibility a year or so ago, this time last year, West Ham beat you tonight. It's with the same level of performance from both teams. Liverpool the fear factor's back. You can tell teams, and that's why your first half performances, I think, are better, because it takes teams a while to try and wake up and maybe get in. I'm just seeing that goal line clearance again from Trent. Ridiculous. Thiago's father's here with us as well now. Rack, from your point of view, like, what was your take on the game? Would you call it luck, or would you call it the way you play?
No, I mean, just following on from what you just talked about. I think when we're playing well, teams snatch at chances because they don't necessarily think they're going to get that many. Even though we gave away a few, a lot of them were half chances. There was one, I think the 1-on-1, which I don't know, is touch and go whether it's offside, but obviously because it didn't get called back or it didn't get checked because there was no goal. So we don't really know whether that would have been given or not retrospectively. The Lanzini one is a big miss, obviously, but it's because we don't give teams that many chances, and when we do give them chances, we've got pace at the back and we're trying to close people down. So they know they're not going to have that much time. So unless you've got that extra bit of composure, which, to be fair, Lanzini with the first touch showed, then the second touch he snatched at the chance. And look, I still think we were the better team. I think we've created the better chances, and I think if we needed to, we had another gear to go into. When we won the league, we won a lot of games 1-0. There were a few games, and we won a lot of games where it took a similar kind of turn where we'd get ahead, and then other teams would come back, and we'd kind of scrape across the line, but it's not really scraping. I think we were a better team, and deservedly won.
I think one of the big points there is, remember when Antonio was getting in a few times in that match, and instead of taking it closer to goal, he's hitting it from outside the box because he's got Van Dijk on him. That aura is back. Players are scared to try and take it in case they don't get a chance like that again because he's that quick. Like, if that's Antonio against, let's say, a Harry Maguire or a Christensen, or I'm calling out because he's crap. If he takes it in the box, he holds them off and he shoots from about 12 yards out. It's the fact that it's Van Dijk who you can't outstrength and you can't outpace. And if you try and do it anyway, he'll just tackle you. Like there's no way to like nullify him on a defensive end. He was that good today. And it showed with Antonio. That's a strike. Don't get me wrong, he's not been in great form recently. But a striker that's not in great form still takes balls closer than 22 yards away from goal against one of the best keepers in the world. That's how scared people are of Van Dijk. That's how scared strikers are of him.
Absolutely. And Thiago, welcome back, my friend. 7 wins on the bounce. The title race is more than on, right? You must be starting to feel now, cooking. 7 wins on the bounce. City looking a little bit sketchy.
The title race was never off. I don't like. There's a lot of fans out there, Liverpool fans as well, rival fans that were saying sort of 2-3 months ago that we're not in a title race. And you know, even guys on my show as well on the Red Sea podcast were saying that we're not in a title race. It was never off. It was always on from the get go. You know, Liverpool at the moment, bar today, because I have my opinions on today, but bar today, we're playing some good football. The confidence is back. You know, that aura around the team is back. And a true sign of champions is winning and winning badly. To be fair, because today I think we were fucking horrendous, if I'm being honest. In front of goal, we were atrocious. We couldn't hit a barn door. The goal was a scuffed shot from Trent. Anybody that wants to say it was a cross, you're kidding yourself. It was a scuffed shot from Trent. Let's tell it as it is. Mane follows it in like a true striker will do because he's looking to pick up the scraps. So credit to Mane for following it in. He gets his luck. And I think along any title race, you need a little bit of luck. But if West Ham had their shooting boots on today and West Ham had a Declan Rice in the midfield today, I'm sorry, boys. I'm sorry, gentlemen. Based on that performance in the midfield, we get put to the sword. We've got to. Yeah, but
if we had Thiago, they wouldn't have touched the ball. So it works both ways, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Of course, I get it. But even without, so let's be more subjective. Even without a Declan Rice in that midfield, they had more clinical, clear-cut chances than us. They had more gilt-edged chances than us. And ultimately, the strikers in the West Ham team, they're not Mohamed Salah, they're not Diaz, they're not Jota, they're not Firmino, they're not Mane. But what they do know how to do is find the back of the net, because if they didn't, they wouldn't be trying to get into the Champions League spot. So I have to give a bit of credit to West Ham. West Ham have played some decent football today and should feel unlucky not to leave Anfield with at least a point.
I don't think they did enough to win the game.
No, that's what I said. A point. I'd say a point. I think a point would be deserved for them.
What are you saying, Mo, as a neutral? Do you sort of feel like Liverpool got away with one today, or do you always feel like they were the better team overall?
They were definitely the better team. The first half, I thought the first half should have ended 2-3-0. If Mohamed Salah puts that first chance in the first minute, we're talking a different talk here. They created about 2, 3, 4 chances in the first half that the game should be away. And that's the difference between probably Liverpool and Man City, even though we have 12 games now in run for Liverpool to winning in all competitions, I guess, 12 games in a row. But still, you have this feeling. You're sitting on the seat. You're holding to the arms of the seat. You're not sure I am getting the 3 points. And that's the difference. However, I think Liverpool did enough to win the game. They didn't win it with the margin that they're supposed to win it with. West Ham created a couple of chances, very clear-cut chances, yes. But that's because, as you said, Terry, on Twitter, and you said the Liverpool high line is funny. It is funny sometimes, because sometimes it works, and sometimes it just creates treat for the other team, especially if they have pace. But again, Liverpool showed that we still can close out games. They did. I don't care if West Ham they miss their chances, right? Every team misses chances, but at the end it's 3 points for Liverpool, and they are 3 points behind City. City still have to play tomorrow, one game in hand. Even if City wins, still Liverpool plays City. But I think Liverpool created a lot of chances today to win the game in the first half. And anybody says otherwise, they didn't watch that first half closely.
City aren't winning tomorrow, mate. They're playing Man United. They ain't winning tomorrow. Winning. They ain't winning nothing. No, I'm actually scared. I've got to do a live stream. I don't want to do it. I'm going to call in sick and I've got no one to call. I work for myself. It's like, Jesus, I've got to go in and do it. The Don's with us now. We're going to add him into the stream and just change the look slightly so we can fit more than 6 people in. We'll go to this look here. It's easier. HUSAM, how's it going, bro? Nice haircut.
Oh,
thank you.
Bro,
new man.
Hi. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. You get me? It's my mom's birthday. I went to eat chocolate cake. I think I made the correct decision because that was dramatic. So first of all, sorry for being late. Second of all, I want to say we need to do something. I think all Liverpool fans, we need to sign a petition. So Liverpool games are no longer on Sky Sport or BT Sport. It should now be on Sky Drama, BT Drama, BN Drama. That's where it should be, because we don't like to do shit the easy way. Never like to do shit the easy way. We always like to keep it dramatic. After all, this is the Premier League. You get me? This is what we have to do. We have to create drama so we keep the people invested. I do not understand sometimes. My football club, I just do not understand. Why do we always do stuff the hard way? Today, on any other day, this game ends 5-0. This game ends 5-0 and we go home and we say this guy scored a hat-trick and blah, blah, blah. But today, the frontline players in front of goal just missed so many opportunities. I thought Keita had a brilliant game. You get me? I'm sure Ben will get his shirt out now. Trent had a fantastic game. Of course, I thought those two sort of stood out of everyone else. Diaz still needs to work on that final third decision, the pass, the shot, etc. Mo did not have a good game at all today. He had a horrendous game. Mane, apart from the goal as well, didn't play well. Jota, same. I think when it comes to the whole situation right now, as always, performances are what matters. We closed the game off, got 3 points, clean sheet. So we keep it stepping. I'm happy overall. We got the 3 points. That's literally all I want. And now, you get me, over to you, Terry. Tomorrow, you get me. We're
gonna do it tomorrow. It's gonna be the day, right? It's been 2 months. Most chances created in the league since Ralph's been here, but we ain't been scoring. Tomorrow, it's gonna click into gear. 4-0 Man United.
I hope so. Mate, I'm here for it.
If we have more than 4 shots on target, I might actually celebrate.
Don't be a pessimist, man. Go into the game with total confidence.
No,
you can do it.
I'm sorry. How can you have total confidence in a defense that has run into each other more times?
And I'm not in control of Man United. Like, I've got confidence when I go out now because Man's got airline back, right? I can't put Man United like this. You know what I mean? I can't redistribute the confidence.
United are winning tomorrow, Terry. You're winning.
Do you think
it's happening?
You really think
it's happening. It is happening. I predicted that Spurs win. Sometimes I have feelings. You get me? Yeah. I say all this all the time. I don't do predictions. I do spoilers. Man United tomorrow are getting points off of Man City. You get me? I will be doing the game, and I'll be not supporting, wanting Man United to win. I will take a shower after the game because that's disgusting. But I still want United to win. So now, listen, all tribalism aside, you get me? Man United, 2 seasons ago when we won the league, Scott McTominay, last-minute winner, Ederson when he fluffed it, and I celebrated that goal, and I have no problem admitting it. We have a league title to win. You get me? Let's push the Liverpool United thing to the side. United are getting something tomorrow. And let me add something else. Ronaldo scoring tomorrow as well. When it happens, come back and say HUSAM told you so. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
What I'll say about HUSAM has had some pretty
hi Terry, I'm still full screen.
Has just had some pretty accurate predictions recently. So if that happens, then big up, man. Because there's a few of them, including the Inter Milan one was the obvious one. Sorry, Mo. Sorry, but yeah.
I want to ask you, Liverpool fans, this question here. Like, I think you're going to win the league from this point. Trajectory, just the feeling and the mood around Anfield right now. Compared, there's something about Man City. It just feels a bit it's almost like, oh, we've got enough of them already. I don't know. There's something about Man City that doesn't feel quite right to win a title. I feel like Liverpool are coming for them. Where are all your heads at with this title race now? In terms of, we know it's on. Which of you, barring HUSAM, because I know he already does, who believes you're going to win it? Like, who actually thinks, I think we will do this?
Can I go first? Can I go first?
Go on, Thiago. Go, bro.
Right. So, at the start of the year, no, end of last season, obviously all the stick we took for the horrendous season that we had. I came out early doors. Check my tweets. I was screaming the revenge tour. Every team which done and inflicted pain on us last season has got it so far this year. We are out to prove a massive, massive, massive point. If we win the league this year, it will be probably the biggest statement from Liverpool. I think it could even be bigger than us winning our first league title, our first Premier League title. Reason being is how crap last year was. We all got written off. Oh, one-trick ponies. Liverpool can't do it again. And I think from a Liverpool perspective, that, like Don HUSAM said, we do things the hard way. We've never gone about it easy. It's always been the us against them, the backs against the wall kind of response. And when that is happening, we're always down for the fight. I don't think City are going to give it up easily. I think definitely it's going to go to the wire. The game at the Etihad is going to be a massive game. It's going to be huge. If that game is the game that we need to take the lead or to tie with them, that's going to be massive. But yeah, I believe it's on. I believe it's on.
Thiago, yeah. I remember on Friday night on Terrace, early on in the season when we played Chelsea, all the Chelsea fans were saying, "Yeah, you guys are finished. You're done." And we were there, right? We said it with our chest that we can win this league. And although there were times, especially when I think City had like an 11-point lead, even though we had a game in hand, it was unlikely. But at 8 points, I thought it's not done. I think 9 points would have been done. That's how fine the margins were. But I think at 8 points, we still had a chance. Now we're down to 3 points. We're in good form now. We're in excellent form. 12 wins in a row, 6 in the Premier League. No one's touching that kind of level of form at the moment. And at the very least, that's going to put doubt in City's mind. I think maybe City are slight favourites on paper, but football's not played on paper. And I think 100%. I think we can win it from here on in.
Yeah,
I want to add something to this. If we end the league today, I think on paper, City are the team that deserves to win the league. However, the fairy tale is Liverpool coming from 8 points behind to win the league. And also, you make your own luck. Winning 6 games in a row, City dropping point at Southampton, losing to Tottenham. This is what makes this league, the fairy tale is Liverpool winning it. And also, if Liverpool go to the Etihad and win that game, they deserve it at that point. But at the moment, yes, Liverpool won all these games, but it feels like City still at this moment deserves this league. I don't know how Liverpool fans, I know that everybody, they think that, yes, we fight back. But at the moment, I still think based on the eye test, still City deserve to win the league. They are the better team in England at the moment. I'm not sure if people agree with me or not.
No.
That's okay. I mean,
I've got no love lost with either. Like some people say, you don't really back City. I'm not backing either. I'm just giving you my opinion on who I think. As in, like, I'm not behind either of these teams. I want them both not to win the league. If I'm being honest, right? Same as last weekend. I wanted both Chelsea and Liverpool to lose the Carling Cup final. It's impossible, but it's how I feel. For me, it's about the performances as of late. For City to win the league, it needs to start tomorrow, and they need to get their performance levels back because Liverpool are performing well, and when they're not, they're still getting the wins. They drew with Southampton as an example. I'm looking at the results here. They drew with Southampton 1-1. They were really poor against Brentford, but they got the win as an example. Yet they smashed Norwich. That was always going to happen. I can't believe they allowed themselves, the way they lost to Tottenham, to lose to Tottenham. They should have drawn with Everton. They were not very good in that game, and they got away with arguably the worst decision ever under the VAR.
Horrendous.
Because it was the fact they've got the apology proves I've never seen the referees come out and apologize. They've just said we can't even. They retracted the initial statement of saying that there weren't enough evidence to see whether it hit the arm or not. That decision there, I think Everton get that penalty. I think Everton score it because most penalties are scored. That would have been 2 more points dropped. their games against United, away at Palace will always play well at them. They then go away to Burnley, which they'll probably win, and then in their next sort of 4 games, if their performances don't re-arrive, they could lose anything between 4 to 5 points in that time period. And Liverpool don't look like it's going to happen to you at all. And that's what I'm going with. And I understand everyone has predictions at the beginning of the season. You also have to change your mind as well when you see things like trajectory, when you look at form, when you look at the irony is I always get called out for like being a stat merchant. I'm using my eye test here. There is a feeling, there's a noise, there is an emotion around Liverpool. I think 2 things did it. The arrival of Luis Diaz, coupled with Konate now finding his feet. You've got that extra stability at the back and Luis Diaz coming in. African Cup of Nations. Even most Liverpool fans I spoke to were panicking and worried about what would happen during that time period. You qualified for the final of the League Cup. You got through to the next round of the FA Cup and you won both your Premier League games. And I think it was almost that relief from that pressure that had been built up from the summer. Everyone was building it up. You guys, you won't win the league because of AFCON. You're losing your best players, rare tear, tear. And I think your fringe players, and Diaz weren't even part of that, I don't believe. Maybe he played one game.
No, it wasn't.
He wasn't even part of that. That's given your squad confidence. You throw all that into the mix, it's changed the game this season. And you're right, Mo, because they have 3 more points than Liverpool. They've been a better team than Liverpool so far this season. But we're in the business end now. And I thought, have you ever seen like a 400 or an 800 meter race where someone's leading and they hit that last 150 meters and you see their legs go and there's someone who's bearing down behind them? That's what's going on. And it isn't a dig at Man City. It's just praise to Liverpool. Man City are amazing. I just think Liverpool are going to end up having too much for them in the end.
Well, this is the thing. Like, if City win, then we've got to make them earn it. And if they win, they win. Fair enough. But there's nothing wrong with backing your team up until the end of the season.
Absolutely,
see what happens.
Yes.
I think as well with us, we had, like you were saying, the Diaz coming in, Konate, Elliott returning from his injury a lot earlier than was initially expected, and just the fact that before, the run during AFCON, we were winning the games that we needed to win, and it weren't nervy, it weren't, oh no, we've just scraped it. It was 2-1, like 3-1s, 2-0s, in a sense, comfortable wins. Everything within the club now, atmosphere-wise, is positive. Everything's looking up. City don't have that same positive atmosphere because they didn't bring in anyone in. That is a massive thing. Everyone points to that. They sit there and go, oh, well, it gives the fans a lift. It must give the players a massive lift. Having someone that good come in to help bolster the squad. You don't look at it as competition when you're fighting for a title. You look at it as backup.
It reminds me a little bit of different scenario because Man United weren't challenging for a league title. But when Bruno joined in that January, that 2 or 3 month period after that, United were a different team. He gave us something different. We obviously didn't capitalize. We went backwards. Yeah, it's done that. Like, Ben, where do you stand on this? Because obviously you're always, with respect to everybody else on here, you're always quite in the middle and kind of like respectful and sort of don't want to get too ahead of yourself, right? And I get that. You obviously got lad mouths like Tom and obviously HUSAM and these guys run them out all day. Yes, especially when you've had a beer, Tom. When you've had a beer, Tom.
I'm not having this. Disgraceful.
What are you saying, Ben? How do you think this is going to go, this title race? Who's winning it?
Yeah, I mean, so at the start of the season, I said we're going to win the league. When I did my prediction video on my own channel, I said I was on there with my friend who supports Liverpool and then somebody else who's a neutral. And my other friend laughed at me. And I think a lot of that was on the whole recency bias of how Liverpool were last season. So I think, people might have been within the rights to say Liverpool aren't winning the league this year. But I just knew that when you add Virgil van Dijk back into the mix, if he's not regressed in his ability, which I don't think he hasn't, the fans back into the stadium, this team, if you add another body in, which we did in Konate, I did always think we were an attacker short, but we managed to January with that, being absolutely, and then we added Diaz in. So I always thought we were going to win the league or at least compete. And I said the lowest will finish as second. And then people on Sky and BT, whatever, were predicting us to finish 4th and 5th, which is just ridiculous. But yeah, and then we got to that point, didn't we? And I did say, look, it's probably not going to happen now. Let's just and because I know how good We know it. Every Liverpool toe to toe with Man City, both up our game. Season where we got 98 and they got 97 and then they got 99. Never seen anything like that before in my life. So history is showing these teams toe. City do the game. So I'm just thinking like a chance. That's all I'm asking for. A chance to get in it. I'll believe, and we can do it again. And we've moved it back to 3 points now. So City have United to play, and there's some tough games coming up for either side. So it's like you can go. Man, I'm still saying City are favourites, but we'll see what happens. And by the way, I've never seen Liverpool fans, whatever, like people in the comments saying, "Oh, people not from Liverpool or whatever." I've probably been to more games this season than you've been in your life. So pipe down.
Listen, I haven't been called a glory hunter for 9 years. It's amazing what success does to fan bases and the people. It makes everybody go a little bit radio rental at times. So let them crack. I mean, if that's all, honestly, that's like, I always find that to be like really weird and weak banter. It's like it's all people have got to say when your team is doing well. Or you're not even local. Yeah, what do you know? You don't understand football. Blah 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 blah. It's boring. Fight some better banter. Someone said something else a minute ago, saying I think Terry is more like jelly. I don't quite get it, but you know who stops me from being floppy like jelly? I could tell a joke there about a member of your family that stops me from being like jelly, but I won't. I'll be respectful. I'll be nice like that. I just want to let everybody know there's a second link in the description below, and I want you to go check it out at the end of this show. The Football Terrace and Give Me Sport as its 6 nominees for the Player of the Month award. Now, they kind of get voted in club-wise. Only one person from each club can be nominated maximum. Here they currently are. You can vote for Harry Kane, Dan Burn, KDB, Luis Diaz, Jard Bowen. I'd have put Matip in myself, to be fair, but Jard Bowen or Kyle Walker-Peters. They are the 6 nominees. Click on the link in the description below and make sure you have your vote. We'll be discussing this more at large on a show tomorrow.
Vote Diaz.
That out. I'm sure you guys will be saying vote Diaz on that one. On Luis Diaz, though, obviously a really good time to kind of bring him up. Thiago, how good a player is he?
He gives me Suarez vibes. Just everything about him, the tenacity, the hunger, the running at players, the fact he wants to stand players up, take players on. He can also create. But like Don HUSAM said as well, I think he needs to find, improve his decision making in the final third, whether to shoot, whether to pass, quality of pass, give and go, when timing of pass, weight of pass. But I think that's just adjustment to the Premier League. Now we know what Jurgen Klopp's like in terms of what he does with new signings. Look how long Andy Robertson took to even get a Liverpool shirt. Do you know what I mean? Look how long Konate took to get on the pitch. Look how long Minamino took to get on the pitch.
Fabinho.
And then Fabinho, look how long he took. The only 2 signings which I've seen Klopp just throw straight in is Virgil van Dijk and now Diaz. That tells you that this guy is the real deal and he is ready to compete in the Premier League. And also what it's done is it's galvanized the others. I think Firmino had become a bit complacent. I think Mane had become a little bit complacent. I think Jota gave them a kick up the arse last year or the year before, when he came in. But I think Diaz has kicked them on again because you need that competition. You need that strength in depth in every single position across the park. Because let's be honest, Manchester City have had it for years. Chelsea have had it for years. And there's no coincidence that those 2 teams have won the most titles amongst all the English teams in the last decade. Those 2 teams have been at the forefront. And Liverpool just haven't had that. Whereas now we've got that strength in depth. And I hope it's not just a thing for now. And in the summer, we don't see one of those guys depart. I hope this is a consistent thing where we're always going to have, 4 or 5 top-class, world-class attackers in that forward line pushing each other on. I mean, the commentary said it today as well. Mo came off and you saw him kind of muttering to himself and he looked a little bit dejected. But maybe he's got to get used to that. Maybe he's got to get used to the fact that if you're not doing the business, lad, you're going to get pulled for someone who is going to do the business. And obviously, Jota didn't come on and paint himself in glory. But at the same time, we now have options when Firmino's fit, where we can change it if we need to. We can find another dynamic, and Diaz just adds to that.
The thing is with Diaz is I'll be honest. Look, there's something respectfully to everyone here and to everyone in the comment section, etc. I'll be just straight up blunt and honest. The difference between elite wingers and wingers that are exciting is simply what they do in the final third. We are not Arsenal fans. We're not going to sit here and just keep just getting excited about a new signing and yay, Diaz. No. We need to see production. He does all the incredible stuff, the dribbling, the going through people, etc. But of course, like this is a new league, so we're not expecting to just hit the ground running immediately and have 10 goals, 15 assists, and light it up. He needs to take time. However, the stuff on the final third, the last pass, the last shot, etc. This is what separates elite wingers from very good wingers, great wingers. You have Raheem Sterling. Take him as an example. Forget our own wingers. When he was with us, brilliant, but in front of goal, decision making, etc., questionable a lot of the times. He goes to Man City, works on that side of the game. Now he's someone who scores 20 goals every season, etc. So when it comes to Luis Diaz, incredible player. I have nothing negative to say against him. All I'm saying is in the final third, there's still work to be done there. Now, Terry, let me just say one thing, because I wanted to say that when the storyline was people were talking about storylines and scenarios, you get me, and I love a storyline and I love a scenario. Let me tell you what's gonna happen, Terry. Let me tell you what's gonna happen. Last game of the season at the Etihad, Stevie G and his tricky claret and blue Aston Villa pull up to the Etihad. Now, we already know the storylines. You get me? We've already known the storylines every day of our life. All the Liverpool fans here will tell you, every day there's one thing being spammed in our mention, and that's the Gerrard slip every time. So, us as Liverpool fans, we don't say Gerrard cost us the title. You get me? But rival fans do. So now, Steven Gerrard, 10 years later, comes back as Aston Villa manager. They pull up to the Etihad last game week of the season. They beat Manchester City at the Etihad. Liverpool are Premier League champions because Steven Gerrard and his tricky claret and blue villains pull up to the Etihad and get a result. And guess what? You know who scores the winning goal? Felipe Coutinho scores the winning goal, who was also part of the 13-14 team. So that's just a prediction. I'm just throwing a storyline out there. So that's all I'm saying. But with Diaz, listen, it's nothing we can just keep singing about. We have to see output and production. But so far, so good from Diaz. No complaints.
Which team will have more thoughts? Which team will have more thinking to do about the Champions League when it comes to the final stages? When the
Man
City. So Man City. So you guys think Man City will have Guardiola will throw out the league in favor of the Champions League? Who has a better squad?
He won't throw out anything.
Who's equipped better to deal with both competitions if they come to the line?
It doesn't matter who's better equipped, though. It doesn't matter because I think Guardiola has always been better equipped, especially last season. He was better equipped to win it last season, and yet you don't know what Pep Guardiola was going to do in certain games. So it doesn't matter how well equipped Manchester City are. What it comes down to at the end of the day is if the pressure is on and everything's there, and he has two massive games in a week, Pep Guardiola will play the stronger lineup in the Champions League semi-final over a massive game for the title, because at the end of the day, we've already won something this season. Is it enough? For me, no. For others, it might be. But we've already won something, so there's not as much of a pressure on us in terms of you need to win this because this is your only shot. If we're keeping the pressure on Man City, they've got a Champions League that they need to avenge last season from that loss. They've got an FA Cup, which who knows what happens in the FA Cup. If they go out with that, then it just goes even more. The pressure heightens again. We have a lot less pressure on us than Man City at the minute. And it's just how well this Man City team deals with it.
Tomo.
They should deal with it well because they've done it for years. They've done it for years. But it's just how they do it.
My thing is with the Champions League, there's a certain aura around Liverpool with the Champions League. We are kings of Europe for a reason. Because we do this. We do it. Year in, year out, we do this. Champions League is our thing. And I think with Manchester City, like you're saying, they need to get that monkey off their back. Last time Pep Guardiola lifted the Champions League was with Barcelona. Didn't do it with Bayern, which is what he was brought there to do. But the manager before him did it, and he didn't do it. because Bayern were looking for sustained domination in Europe. Was unsuccessful doing it there, and he hasn't done it in the period of time he's been at Manchester City. That is the trophy they've been chasing year on year, year on year. The whole reason why he was brought there, and City fans will always kind of rubbish it off and go, no, the league's our priority. Bollocks.
Pellegrini was winning league titles.
Yeah, Pellegrini was doing it. Mancini's done it.
We don't
Everyone's
even
done
have
it.
to make stuff up. We don't even have to make stuff up. Their own sporting, the head of what's his name, bro? The sporting director, Cheeky Bergestein.
Yeah,
He said Pep was brought in so we can become a European club, establish European dominance, etc. And how does that happen? By winning the Champions League. You don't become an elite European club by winning league titles, respectfully. And if they wanted to win the league title with the amount of money they spent, they could have just gotten a decent manager in. Of course, he wouldn't have won as much as Pep, but he still would have won league titles had they brought someone else in. So
it's why when I saw today, I saw an article where it was talking about the City and Liverpool team are the greatest Premier League teams of all time, and what City have done domestically puts them in that conversation. But you have to add European success to that, and I say that paying homage to two of Fergie's teams. I say that paying homage to Paisley's teams that were winning leagues year in, year out, winning domestic trophies year in, year out, but dominated Europe as well. And dominating Europe means winning the European Cup or the Champions League as we now know it, or maybe the Super League in a few years' time. That's what you have to do. The greatest teams do that. If you actually go back and look at all the great managers, all the teams that we consider to have dynasties, how many don't have a Champions League title? None. They all do. And that's what I don't like about the modern day. Look, I respect there is added, like when you win a league earlier than anybody else, or you accumulate a certain amount of points, or you score a certain amount of goals. I remember the year we won the league title, and I still think the world record in that season exists for like most games on the bounce without conceding a goal. Great. I'd have given that up to won the FA Cup that year, though. Like, take that record and give me another trophy on top of it means far more to me than that. And football's kind of being rewritten a little bit. And I do think it's by certain journalists with agendas. I do think it's trying to undo certain history. But I know Liverpool fans ain't going to buy into that, because the way we're trying to talk about it now, like, you don't need to win everything or too much. If you have a few good records in the run, it makes it more potent. And I'm like, well, that means if Man United were to win, imagine Man United win the game against Atletico, and then our quarter, our semi-final and final, we win it in record-breaking fashion. Does that make us the greatest ever English team in Europe?
No.
Hell no.
It doesn't. And we're trying to now, some people are trying to rework how we consider things to be great. And people say, but the teams now are getting more points than ever. And I'll be blunt about it. They are. But in most sports, physical sports, things improve in terms of fitness, in terms of diet, in terms of training. Look at the size of rugby players now compared to 20 years ago. As great as the likes of Muhammad Ali was as a boxer, if you took Muhammad Ali from 1960-something and put him against a very good boxer in the modern day world with the fitness levels and dietary regimes and did it era versus era, he wouldn't win. I don't watch American football, but I'm pretty sure there are running backs now, or there are certain elements of play. I bet players are bigger now than they used to be, faster now than they used to be. If you play a great NFL team from 30 years ago against a great NFL team from now, it could be an average NFL team from now, and it'll probably win. The point I'm making is, like, you have to compare achievements, because eras change, things change, science change, physicality changes. The way we even analyze the game, balls are lighter, boots are lighter, whatever it may be. And that isn't a dig at saying it's easier now, but it's a level playing field for everybody that's playing now. You can't do that cross era. You have to go and look back. Otherwise, by that same logic, like Bob Paisley's achievements mean less now than they did back then. They don't. They mean everything, because in that era, everybody else had what Liverpool had, if that makes sense. You were all on a level playing field. I can't stand this new way of thinking, trying to undo history, rewrite history, so lesser achievements now are weighed up as being better than bigger achievements 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. It's crazy to me. But
the only thing I would say, though, Tel, is that perceptions also change. And, like, for example, the year we won the league, there was talk of us maybe going invincible. The year we won the Champions League, the only game we lost against City, we could have potentially, if we beat City that game, we could have won the Champions League, the league, and become Centurions all in the same season. at the time I said, and for me, I would rather have that than win an FA Cup and have and be like treble, because then you're Centurions, you're unbeaten, and you've won a league and Champions League double. So I understand what you're saying, but people are also allowed to have different opinions.
But I agree with your point there, though, mate. So your point there about doing like a Champions League, Premier League double is gargantuan. Doing Centurions and Invincibles is of course some people weigh it up and say it's better than FA Cup. I understand that, but you've added a Champions League into that. If somebody said to you, you can do the Centurions and Invincibles and a League Cup, or 80 points, 3 defeats, but you add a Champions League to it, I know you're taking that Champions League. I know you're taking
100%. 100%. Trophies is what matters. Trophies is at the end of the day what matters. Listen, look, we're all content creators here, okay? Think of it this way. Imagine Terry employs me and let's say Rax, okay? Terry asks us for 1,000 views, 1,000 subscribers, and 1,000 likes. I get 1,000 views, 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 likes. Rax gets 2,000 subscribers, 2,000 likes, but only gets 500 views. At the end of the day, I've achieved everything I've set out to achieve, not with flying colors like Rax, but I've achieved everything I've set out to achieve. At the end of the day, the trophies are the main objectives. Whether you do it with flying colors, whether you do it however it is. Now, people remember when you get more trophies than more than one trophy in one season, more than like these individual achievements and stuff like, yay, 100 points, okay, invincible, okay. People slander the invincibles till today's day. Till today's day, they still say, why didn't you win anything else? Why didn't you win in Europe? How could you go without a loss in the Prem and not win anything in Europe? So, like, at the end of the day, trophies matter. Right now, I would happily take stinky 1-0 wins from now to the end of the season. If we win Prem and Champs together, it would mean much more than winning the Premier League after an unbeaten run.
And I look at it from this way. So I'm going to go to you in a sec, Tug. I look at it this way. If City, and this is why we go back to the original point here, so we don't go completely off track. Pep Guardiola and Man City have to win the Champions League for their team to be in the conversation to be one of the greatest English teams of all time, because all the other great teams, especially in the last 30, 40 years, have Champions Leagues, in my view. Chelsea's, Liverpool, of course, Man United. But this is what I would say. This is why the trophies matter. And I'll throw this question out. It can be rhetorical if you want it to be. Is this been most people say this has been the best era of tennis, with the 3 greatest male tennis players of all time competing against each other in Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer. Most people agree with that. It's like a general consensus I read. Yeah. Does that mean that Andy Murray is better than Andre Agassi and Pete Sampras, even though he's won less because he's in this era?
No. And just on that point, because you're making,
he may be better.
A great point.
He's probably not greater. There's a difference in. Sorry.
And this is just it, because I was literally about to make a very similar analogy, because most of us Liverpool fans in here, if Jurgen Klopp leaves tomorrow, and he leaves with what we've got in terms of the trophies which we've acquired, for me, we would have missed out on probably one of the greatest periods in this club's history. For this to go down as being the greatest period in this club's history, we need more trophies. Facts. I'm not disputing it. We need more trophies. So I don't care whether we get 100 points or whether we win in 80 points. The end goal for me is when Klopp goes in 2024, God forbid he goes in 2024. I hope he doesn't. I hope he stays forever. We need to see consistent levels of trophy, consistent levels of winning, because no one looks back and says, yeah, do you know that Liverpool team played some sexy football, but we won fuck all. The reason why we talk about Paisley, the reason why we talk about Shankly, it's because of the trophies, and they played sexy football with it. Yeah, we have to have trophies. This year, everything's on the table. League's on the table. Champions League's on the table. We've got League Cup, FA Cup's on the table. Why can't we now win it all? And I had a very interesting conversation at the beginning of this season with Daps at Never a Foul, and he made it very clear. He said, for this Liverpool team to be considered one of the greatest, it's not about winning individual honours in one season. It's now about doubles. It's now about trebles. It's about multiple titles. And I said, I don't care about the points. I care about the silverware at the end. Yeah, it's sexy going Centurions and unbeaten and all of that bollocks. That's the icing on top of the cake.
I think that stuff is what you then use. So let's just say you're comparing a Man United team that in a 6-year period won 4 league titles, a Champions League, 2 League Cups, and then yours has won similar amounts. I then think things like the unbeaten runs, the records you break.
Yeah.
They
That's
then
the tiebreaker
separate,
thing.
yeah, they separate the great teams as an example for me.
Icing on top of the cake.
I just sort of feel like, again, and this isn't a dig at Liverpool because I've said how great you've been. But if Klopp's era ends and it's one league title, one Champions League, one League Cup, the fact that you couldn't get in front of Man City for whatever reason, and they get agreed to being as the best, it doesn't necessarily make you the second best. I look at it and go, a team that some teams won 4 or 5 league titles, like they were the best. I know it's era wise, but football tends to get better. Things become harder in the game.
It does. Yeah.
But we can't, again, it's suddenly now we're doing cross purpose of eras, but it's an interesting debate. And
if Klopp's tenure ended today, this would be the best Liverpool team ever. In terms of natural quality that each player has across the board, you could argue this is the best Liverpool team ever.
Okay, trophy-wise or just quality, Tom?
It would not be the greatest because Bob Paisley won 20 trophies in 9 seasons. He averaged 2 trophies a season. It wouldn't be the greatest because greatest is defined by what you win. But you could be the best player and never win anything. Best is just purely down to ability. And this Liverpool team right now is the best team ability-wise we've ever had.
And
because Bob Paisley's and Bill Shankly's teams were there at the end of the season winning everything. Whether it was because the competition weren't as great or whatever, that is irrelevant because history next to it in the history books doesn't have Liverpool won it, but there was no real competition. It's Liverpool won it. That is it. So Bob Paisley's teams and Bill Shankly's teams probably, if Klopp does stick by his thing of leaving in 2024, will remain greater than any of Klopp's
and I want to
teams.
be very clear in terms of the article I'm talking about. Didn't say best. It says we are watching the 2 greatest teams in Premier League history. They are saying greatest, not saying best. So if somebody wants to say that Liverpool's team is one of the best ever teams in terms of X, Y, and Z, like you just said, Tom, I don't have a problem with that because generally speaking, that's a subjective view of who the best is. But when you're saying greatest, you can't win 1 Premier League and be the greatest compared to a team that's won 13. It's
agree.
just otherwise, like I said, otherwise, this is where Liverpool fans need to be mindful. Again, I always say this to people: don't try. You might be able to win this battle because right now everybody would love for no Man United team to be ever considered the greatest. It's like a nice win. But then you set yourselves up for a team having an amazing Champions League campaign to go greatest ever English champions European side because of how we won 1 as opposed to winning 6. It's fucking stupid. No one's ever going to so Liverpool fans, be mindful of the wolf you let in your door fighting this battle alongside City to essentially damage Man United because you're undoing your 66 trophy-laden, 100-plus year history by siding with modern-day teams that have just come about. Like, I mean this really and truly. Like, it's a madness to me. And I actually, the Arsenal fans tried doing it the other week as well. And I was sort of like, yo, like, what, you're going to give away some of your own? So an Arsenal fan said, you guys shouldn't count your community shields. So I went and added it up because I'm pernickety. If we took away all our community shields, including Arsenal's, do you know Arsenal only have 2 more trophies than Chelsea?
Yes.
In their whole history.
Yeah. So if you add up all of Chelsea's domestic and European and world trophies and all of Arsenal's and take out community shields, and there's 2 or 3 from each are removed, like these weird, like London so-and-so cups from like 1920. I'm talking the main 4 and the European ones. I think it was 28 to 30. And I'm like, so that's why I'd be careful when you're trying to win these like niggly little arguments because you end up down. I remember being on a space once and Arsenal fans were upset that Chelsea were including Arsenal fans were saying you can't Arsenal fans were saying Chelsea fans were saying to Arsenal fans you can't include trophies that were won before the war, and Arsenal fans were saying you should always count all history. And then somebody brought up, I think it was me, that they weren't the first team to go invincible, it was Preston, and I said but that was before the war, so it doesn't really count. That's my point. It's careful how you win your arguments and maintain a consistency. Especially, I maintain consistency on the subjects I never want to lose on. Does that make sense? Like who the great managers are. Like I won't ever yield on that because no one's going near my Fergie. Like I am protective above all other things. But now look, you guys listen. I think you and City, the way your teams play, you are heading. You need more trophies. They need a Champions League, but you're heading towards that conversation. You guys need another Prem or 2. Suddenly, for another Champions League in there and a few domestic trophies, it's going to be so hard to look past you. It really is.
Terry,
I want to say, I just want to,
you're
one
spitting fact right now. You're spitting.
one thing.
Go on, right?
You know, we've had this conversation a few times on Spaces recently, right, over the last 6 months. People, you know, is this a Pep era or is this a Pep and Klopp era? And people obviously always say,
don't do this.
and people will obviously say, look, you know, how can you say this is a Pep and Klopp era? It's a Pep era because he's, you know, potentially he's won potentially going to be winning 4 Premier Leagues. Let's just say we win the Premier League and the Champions League this season.
Klopp era now.
Well,
let me just say something to Terry, Alex. Let me just speak to Terry. Terry, listen. I hear what you're saying. You get me. You're spitting, and this is why tomorrow you have to prove that you are the best Premier League team of all time. You get me? Tomorrow is where you prove everything you've said. You cannot let these noisy neighbors say Manchester is blue. Manchester has to be red tomorrow. You get me? So everything Terry just said, listen to me, Man United and Man United fans. You cannot let Man City, just because they have centurions and records and stuff, you have to prove you are the bigger Premier League team. So tomorrow, you pull up to the Etihad, you give them the work, you get me, and then you prove it. Then there's no other team greater than Man United. So that's how we're going to do it.
I hope, I pray that that's possible, but I doubt it. We have some super chats here. First one says, this is the start of who can hold out for the longest winning run. Us or City, that's how you win titles. Strip Bear says, Hid Star-Lord will give this a month, boss. Seems fair. Why are you hiding Star-Lord? I've told you people in the comment section before, mods and members and everybody else. If there's someone you don't like, ignore them. Just ignore them. You're here to listen to us. Like, relax, bruv. Madam, sorry. The armpit penalty plus no penalty kick versus Everton will end up being so frustrating at the end of the season. Hopefully, Liverpool can do it, is what Liam says. Acebek says, is Liverpool's squad depth underrated? 6th and 7th choice attackers, Origi and Minamino, have 20 goal contributions between them as an example. Look, I don't necessarily think it was underrated per se. It's more about if you have prolonged injuries to main stars. If you had to play with Divock Origi and Minamino for 10 Premier League games on the bounce,
that's where the issues arise when you've got to use Minamino in the Premier League.
Terry, I'll give you this one, and before because I've got to zip out, guys. But I'll give you this one. My whole thing about squad depth, we've always had the depth there. It's always been there. The issue is that those backup players, so to speak, you know, we refer to them as the backup brigade over at Red Sea Podcast. They were not contributing in the season where we needed them the most, i.e., last season. Divock Origi finished with, I think, 1 goal. Minamino was sent out on loan to Southampton. Oxlade-Chamberlain was missing. Naby Keita was injured. You know, and we've seen this multiple times. Whereas this season, something has clicked. Something has changed. Minamino bags 2 in the cup the other day to basically put us through against Norwich. You know, he bagged goals in a League Cup, which got us to the final. Subsequently, we win. Divock Origi looks a little bit more invigorated. He's actually running and chasing after the ball. You know, Oxlade-Chamberlain, whilst his performances haven't been exemplary, he's been available because he's actually seems like he's hit some kind of consistency without those injuries. Those players, Naby Keita, another one, you know, he's actually hit some consistency without being consistent, being injured all the time. Those players are now contributing. So that's why the depth is now being highlighted. Another one as well, Chelsea fans, shout out to you lot, which was screaming the best balanced squad across the whole Premier League at the beginning of the season. Where are you now? Where are you now? Because this is what I'm saying. This whole balance thing and squad depth is so subjective. All of these teams have had these players there consistently. But
always one guy.
It's like role reversal. It's like role reversal. You know, we were in the mud in terms of the players that weren't contributing. Now Chelsea are in the mud because Sao Niguez hasn't contributed. Azpilicueta looks like he's getting absolutely annihilated every time someone runs at him.
Yeah,
Alonso looks like he's crying every time someone runs at him.
I hear you. That has kind of flipped itself, no doubt. Bash here says LFC's away fixtures: Brighton, Arsenal, Villa, City, Newcastle, Southampton. City play Palace, Burnley, Wolves, Leeds. Don't you think City have a favourable fixtures?
Yeah,
no,
they do.
But I'll tell you what, some of them atmospheres are horrible to go to. Sellers Park isn't an easy place to go to. Elland Road. Molyneux, they gave us a great game this season. Wolves, they could very easily nick a draw against a top team
Yeah.
with how good their defence is. What was the other one? Burnley. Oh, don't get me started on Burnley. Like they've got some really tough away days with teams that, yes, on paper they're like mid-table, lower end of the table, but on their day with the atmospheres that they can create, especially at Selhurst Park, that's the one I always harp back to. You hate going to Selhurst Park in a title race because something can always happen there.
Definitely.
Most teams are fighting for their lives as well.
Exactly. Yeah, that changes it massively as well. Jose here says, if not for those 6 draws, we'd be on 81 points. City not better than us, like people tend to think. City will choke. Liverpool is coming, is what Jose says there. We had one more super chat that says, best UK Invincibles, Rangers won all games, no draws. Listen, everyone that has tuned in, thank you. Remember, we're sponsored by Boohoo Man today. Their new Top Boy range is out now. App exclusive range. Click on my link in the description below and go and check it out right now. The Top Boy range is out ahead of the new season being released, which we're all very, very excited about. I know everyone wants Top Boy has gone international. So go and check it out. The stream's coming to an end now. You can get up to 40% off of the majority of the clothing range using promo code TFT10 and the link in our description below. Everybody that's tuned in, a massive thank you to each and every one of you. Everyone who's joined, thank you very much indeed. I'm going to go eat some food, have some drinks now. The boys around, they're all chilling in the living room, probably mash the house up, UFC night tonight. So we're going to go have some good times. Everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless.